Good morning, everyone. Oh, I love it. I got to tell you, I've done this for about 5 years, and this is probably the most packed I have seen this room first thing in the morning. So thank you all for being here. As Lynette said, I'm Felicia Rodriguez with WPBF 25, and I'd like to welcome you all to our 10th annual Treasure Coast Business Summit. That deserves a round of applause. I am thrilled to be back here again with you this year for this event where we are really celebrating growth especially on the Treasure Coast. This summit was actually started back in 2008 at the height of the recession. And the height of the recession to bring local businesses together. And through the years, this summit has done that and done it successfully. At this time, we'd like to recognize city officials that are here in the room with us today. We have Port St. Lucie Mayor Gregory J. Oravec. Port St. Lucie Councilwoman Stephanie Morgan. Port St. Lucie Assistant Police Chief Rich Del Toro. Who, might I add, is very active on Twitter, if you follow him on Twitter. Past President of PAL, Bill May. St. Lucie County School Board member Troy Ingersoll. St. Lucie County Commissioner Anthony Bana. Also joining us today, Fort Pierce Mayor Linda Hudson. And last but not least, St. Lucie County Commissioner Kathy Townsend. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy day to be with us. We at WPBF 25 feel very strongly about our community, and especially our business community. We feel honored that ratings book after ratings book, WPBF 25 is ranked #1 in our newscast right here on the Treasure Coast. And we hope you can feel the love here on the Treasure Coast. We're so proud to be the exclusive TV sponsor of the Treasure Coast Business Summit. We've been talking about it all week on our morning newscast, so I hope you've seen that. And if you haven't, then it's time to change the channel. A little shameless plug. And we are so appreciative of your support. We had so much fun here just a few months ago for a big health and wellness festival with Dr. Oz. And we were amazed at the number of people who came out to the event. And it was just so nice because it wasn't, they were like, we didn't just come to see Dr. Oz, we came to see you. We're like, wow, because I would come to see Dr. Oz, but thank you. I am personally celebrating 20 years with WPBF this year, and with all of you, I can't stress enough how intricate the Treasure Coast is to our area. It's been wonderful to see the growth here in your business as well as in ours in the TV side. We're thrilled to already partner with so many businesses represented here in the room today, in the room behind you, and we're looking forward to working with many more of you. We are well positioned at WPBF 25 to offer the very best resources, whether it's traditional television, video impressions on digital or social media, Spanish language on our sister station, Estrella TV West Palm Beach, you name it, WPBF 25 has it. I'm also proud of our Emmy Award-winning teammates, and our weather team is the only station independently certified as our area's most accurate. Also, and this doesn't leave the room because it's happening in about an hour or so down in West Palm Beach, but our First Alert weather team will actually be receiving the Governor's Media Award for our year-round effort to prepare and protect our viewers throughout hurricane season. We were notified of the award. Thank you. We were thrilled. We were notified we were told to keep it on the down low, so keep it on the down low, at least for another hour or so, when the award will be announced in West Palm Beach. We, of course, I know, Del Toro's tweeting already. We want to meet all of you. My colleagues, Tiffany Kenny, who's my co-anchor at 5 and 5:30, she's here, as well as Erin Guy, our morning news anchor, so please stop by and say hello. Now, at this time, I would like to bring up our mayor of Port St. Lucie, Gregory Oravec, to speak to you.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, come on. We have Anheuser-Busch here. That is not a proper Anheuser-Busch. Oh, you know why? It's because we're saying good morning. So it's a pleasure to be with you. And on behalf of our 5-member city council, you got Councilwoman Morgan right over there, over 1,000 employees and over 185,000 and counting residents, welcome to the city of Port St. Lucie and our beautiful Civic Center for the 10th annual Treasure Coast Business Summit. And as the mistress pointed out, 10 years ago, things were pretty rough. And in the city of Port St. Lucie and many other places, but especially here, because remember, we were the fastest growing city in the entire country as set forth by the US Census, right? So we were skyrocketing, but what went up had to come down, and it did. And so 2008, really, while the national trend had detonated, and it was really a financial bomb here, it was actually getting worse for us. And we didn't really hit that bottom. Daryl, nadir, look up nadir. We didn't get to the nadir really until 2010, 2012, and even 2013. As an organization, we'd have to lose over 20% of our workforce and go through painful layoffs. As a community, we would lose over half of our property value. So if you thought of your city just like you do your house, you lost 55% of the value on your house. When you think about your economy, and there's a million metrics that we could use, if we just used the employment rate or the unemployment rate as a barometer, in 2008, we were 8, 9%, but it would actually deepen and get to 12%, 14% unemployment, people unemployed in Port St. Lucie, St. Lucie County, and Sunrise City, Fort Pierce over there. Things were bad. But luckily, and I know Bill May's out there. Bill May, you got to get on his little leadership management quote list. He sends you one every day, and I'm not gonna lie to you and say that everyone. You're a preacher. I mean, I would never lie to you. Not everyone is gonna be good, but this one, this Japanese proverb, fall 7, get up 8, and that's really true, isn't it? And certainly, your city of Port St. Lucie's got up, and it's continued to get up, and is really at a point now where we're poised for really seizing our potential. So how many people are from St. Lucie County in this room? And give yourselves a round of applause. So there's a lot to love about St. Lucie County, and especially PSL. And we got a highly educated bunch. We're incorporated in 61 by General Development Corporation. That, do we have any GDC people in the audience, by the way? I got to get this out. I need to know right now. Although it is being filmed, so I guess there's no hiding it. But you probably know that, sir, for $10 down and $10 a month for 10 years, you too could own a piece of sunny Florida. And I don't know if you bought it in New York in a sand pit in the 1960s with beach bunnies, probably drinking, let's be honest, we know, right? That's how people discovered Port St. Lucie. And for whatever you would say about General Development Corporation, they were amazing, almost as good as Assistant Chief Del Toro at marketing. And of course, they didn't have Facebook back then, but really good at marketing. And people from all over the world bought in Port St. Lucie. But they didn't start moving here till later, right? Because 1970, there were 330 people here. In 1980, 15,000 people. It's just the 90s, we started to get into tens of thousands of people, like 30,000 people. All of that growth has happened since, and now we're growing again, and it's an exciting time. We are the safest large city in Florida, and we're getting safer. So give everyone a round of applause. So crime's down. So that's like a championship belt. And if you spend any time with Assistant Chief, you'll be amazed to know that he also likes wrestling. He's a big fan of the WWE. So that's like a championship belt. Maybe for Christmas or something, we'll have to get him a belt that he can wear, strut around the office a little bit, but then put it away, Rich. Don't wear it all the time. So we've got a safe city getting safer, and that's really where we start. But what is incredible about the city of Port St. Lucie, and you probably know this to be true in your own business, if you really want to get ahead, it can't happen all the time. There's special moments of time in any organization or any team where things just fall into place. And if you study those moments, I think that you'll find that you have a group of people that help each other. They don't compete with each other. They bring different talents to bear. And they don't all do the same thing. They do different things, but they do it in a complementary fashion. And instead of taking a step forward and a couple steps back, you take 3 steps forward. That's what we have right now in the city of Port St. Lucie. Thanks to you, our community, who believes and works hard every day and participates in events like this and so many other things. We got the Dire Difference coming up. But also, at your elected leadership. Elected leadership, it matters. And with Councilwoman Morgan and Councilman Carballo and Councilman Carvelli, I like to call him Dr. Carvelli, and the Vice Mayor and our new city manager, we got a real team. And they are producing award-winning excellence, just like the Mistress talked about the Governor's Award. Our communications department, I don't know if you've noticed, they've really stepped up their game. We have the Communicator of the Year in our communications department. And it's really important because that's how we share information with you, and you are our shareholders. You tell us what you want. We try to do it to the best of our ability. We share how we're doing, and we continuously improve. That's what we're doing in the city. Now, Lynette, you guys all know Lynette, right? She's a taskmaster. And she was hoping that I would give you a call to action. And so I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm going to do that. Before we talked about fall down 7, get up 8, right? Well, the other things I want to leave you with, because all the really cool thoughts have already been worked out. Mark Twain said that continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. And if you don't think that's a real thing, how many of you have been following what's happening with our rivers and the Lake O discharges? You've heard about it, right? And you should care about it because it's our quality of life. It's one of our cornerstones of our foundation. Rather than arguing about whose fault it is and looking for a perfect solution, just make it a little bit better today. Just seize the moment, make it better. If it's not perfect, you can improve it again. But if you wait for a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, like we have with the comprehensive Everglades restoration plan and other projects, by the time you get to it, it might be too late. So continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. This is supposed to be interactive. It's got to be inspiring. You got to feel it in your bones. And then the other thing I'd say, is that Paula out there? So Paula, this was way before your time, but we had a president who said, Teddy Roosevelt, he actually borrowed it from a guy in the mountains, some mountain wisdom. He said, do what you can with what you got where you are. And that's what we're going to ask for you today and every day. Do what you can, because if you do, you're going to make your business better. You're going to make your family better. You're going to make your city better. You're going to make your county better. You're going to make your region better. You're going to make your state and your country better. You're going to make the world a better place if you just start improving today. Again, thank you for allowing us to be and help host the Treasure Coast Business Summit. We're very proud of Lynette and Dana and all the organizers, our sponsors, our Bedrock corporations, and we're proud of all of you. Thank you.
The mayor keeps calling me mistress. I'm like, who's he talking about? Not really comfortable with that title, but okay, for today, we'll keep it. At this point in time, I'd like to introduce, as they were introduced to me, Jonathan 1 and Jonathan 2, Jonathan Hardy and Jonathan Holmes of Dyer Auto Group. They are here to present very special awards, the Dyer Difference Awards for St. Lucie County and Indian River County. Please welcome Jonathan 1 and Jonathan 2.
Hello, everybody. We're feeling pretty honored to be here today and be a part of this business summit. To talk a little bit about the Dyer Difference Award, since 2008, we've been able to give away, or give back just over $500,000. So, and the way that works is every month our management team in each store, we get together and we all vote on submissions that people submit for any 501c3 charities. So the reason we want to talk about it today is sometimes we don't have enough of those to vote on. And you as all pillars of the community in here can help us with that and help us people apply for this. All they have to do is go to www.dyerdifference.org. And it's a pretty good thing. Did you want to say anything about that?
I'm good.
How about it?
Could you all understand me out there? I talk kind of funny. So to move on to this month's award is actually going from the Indian River State College. They do some great stuff. You want to come out and tell us a little bit about what they look for?
Hello, everyone. We're from the Indian River State College Foundation, and we are here on behalf of our College Reach Out program. This is a program that serves 6th graders through 12th graders, 65 traditionally underserved and underrepresented students. Most of them are eligible for free and reduced lunch. They're potential first-generation college students, and they have low English and math scores. They participate in this program after school, 2 Saturdays a month and 4 weeks in the summer. The goal of the program is to strengthen their educational skills while encouraging and providing info on the benefits of attending college. We are really thankful and grateful to Dyer Chevrolet for supporting us in the College Reach Out program. We at the college know that education is the key to break the cycle of poverty, and we're just so grateful and thankful for your support.
I'm Jonathan 1.
I thought it was Jonathan 1.
I have the microphone, I'm Jonathan 1. So while the executive management team isn't allowed to pull favorites when we're presenting all the candidates every single month, we secretly always pull for our favorite local charities. And I was very happy to hear that the Youth Guidance donation fund of Vero Beach won this month, so if I could have them come up. We're very proud to partner with this organization because of the way they go about their particular program being a grassroots program. It's really a one-to-one experience mentorship program, and that's something at Dyer that we believe in. How we train our staff is always one-to-one, and we feel that they exemplify that. So again, a round of applause and thank you.
Good morning. I'm Felix Cruz, the Executive Director of Youth Guidance, the Mentoring Academy in Indian River County. Youth Guidance has been providing mentoring services and leadership development opportunities for children for the past 45 years. And these are children who are from single-parent family homes and also from disadvantaged families. In other words, children who are low income. And recently we had awarded an Impact 100 award. And the reason I mention that is because if you're awarded Impact 100 award, it's because you're doing something transformational. And let me take a second just to tell you about that. We take young kids who are from single-parent families who are poor. We provide them with mentorship and guidance. We get them through school. We get them to graduate. We get them to go on to college. And then they come back and give it back to the community. So instead of being a burden on the taxpayers, they are productive citizens who are taxpaying, and now that's transformational. That's what we do with our children, and we thank Dyer for the many years of support. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody.
I kind of thought it was the other way around, Jonathan 1, Jonathan 2, but. Well, at this time, we'd like to introduce our keynote speaker, and he's kind of a big deal. Peter W. Bush is a direct descendant of the Anheuser-Busch family. He is the owner and founder of Southern Eagle Distributing since 1984. In 1991, he established the Peter W. Bush Family Foundation, which serves to enhance the quality of life on the Treasure Coast and preserve indigenous wildlife through the Bush Wildlife Sanctuary. The foundation has donated over $3.5 million to local Treasure Coast charities. Peter is also a proud father of 6 and grandchildren, has 6 grandchildren, which makes a perfect 12-pack if you think about it. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Let me tell you a story about a beer rooted in the heart of America, found in a community where a handshake is a sure contract, brewed for those who found opportunity and challenge and hope in tomorrow, raised by generations willing to sip, share, risk, remember. This is a story bigger than beer. This is the story of beer country.
At this time, we'd like to welcome to the stage Peter W. Bush.
Good morning. How's everybody today? Excellent. It is an honor and a pleasure for me to be here. I want to thank Dana and everybody that helped put this organization together. I'm thrilled to death to be here, so thank you all very much. And I want to tell you a little bit of a story over the next 10 or 15 minutes. And that's a story of not only my family and my great-grandfather on up, but what brought me to Fort Pierce 34 years ago, and how that all worked out. So with that, without those two guys, none of this would be here, and naturally I would not be here either. The one on the left is Eberhard Anheuser, and then Adolphus Busch, my great-grandfather. Those guys met in St. Louis many, many years ago, and they formed Anheuser-Busch. From there, it went to my grandfather, August Busch Sr., who maneuvered a company through some very, very tough times, and specifically Prohibition. The reins then were turned over to my father, Gussie Busch, who was born in 1899, just to put it in perspective. And he's the one that guided the company through a tremendous amount of growth, building our first brewery in Newark, our third brewery in LA, and so on and so forth. So with that, I would like for you to listen to the speech that my dad gave the night the Prohibition ended. If we could play that, please.
April the 7th is here, and it is a real occasion for thankfulness, marking a newfound freedom for the American people, made possible by the wisdom, foresight, and courage of a great president with the cooperation of an understanding Congress. There is a song in our hearts. Its happy days are here again. And they are here again, for out of a maze of confusion and anxiety has come a beacon light to guide the way to better times. Happy, grateful men are back at work after what seemed an endless idleness. Faith of these men has been renewed. This holds good not only in the city of St. Louis, but many other sections of the country. Once again, freight cars are pulling in, loaded with grain from American farms. bottles, cases, and various equipment, as well as coal and other supplies from industry long suffered of the Depression, while others soon will be rolling out and onward, contributing their share toward the rehabilitation of industry, agriculture, and transportation. But in the enthusiasm of our newfound joy, let us not overlook the greater benefits that would be the reward of the repeal of the 18th Amendment. We should and must unite in keeping faith with our government and respecting and conforming to the regulations defined by the states. We shall be happy and secure by adhering to these policies, to which we, as a factor in the brewing industry, which I proudly represent in the fourth generation, pledges ourselves. When the plans of the chief executive of this nation has been achieved and made effective, a new and greater era will loom on the horizon for our people, one that will result in a happier and more secure existence for all of us. Let us join by doing our part in the carrying out of that splendid, conceived, and progressive program for the general welfare. To do so means our individual protection by the elimination of present undesirable and unlawful elements. May I add just a word about good, wholesome beer, which contributes so much to good cheer, good health, and true temperance. It is a great pleasure to have released the first case of beer bottled in our plant in nearly 14 years. Good night and good luck.
One heck of a speech, huh? He did an unbelievable job. No TV, only radio, but he got the message out. And the day, or that evening, when Prohibition finally ended, was the creation of the then 6-horse hitch, the Clydesdales. My father and my uncle gave my grandfather the 6 in hand first, then it became an 8 in hand of horses, of which you see today, of which my son Philip and Julia, my daughter, have them quite a bit down here on the Treasure Coast, which I'm really happy to see still going on, so pretty cool. Just a few other pictures. My uncle, my grandfather, my dad, the first case of Anheuser-Busch product, 1933. You can see it on the case. The first actual case went to the governor of New York. He was very instrumental in helping the repeal of Prohibition. The second case aboard the Clydesdales went to the White House and to our president. So, when I moved down here in 1984, I was 28 years old, and I flew into Palm Beach, and things were looking up. It was pretty cool, and you have all the lights and everything going on in Palm Beach, and district manager picked me up from the airport and started driving north. Well, 95 was not complete back in those days, as we all know, so we had to make a few detours, and the further north that we went, the darker it became. There's just no light. And you see all these lights going on in Palm Beach. And again, you get past Martin County, the lights are getting dimmer and dimmer. You get into St. Lucie, and basically what we had then was cows. We had lots of oranges, sod, and sugar cane. And pretty much that was it. But that's what we started with. That's Southern Eagle Distributing in 1984. Minus our shop. But you can see on the right-hand side, that was our office. We started with a single-wide trailer, and we moved to a double-wide trailer, and then we finally were able to get our new facility. I also forgot to mention, too, that in 1953, my dad bought the St. Louis Cardinals, and we do have a Cardinal fan right there in our audience. Thanks for the hat. And the Cardinals went on to win their first World Series in 1964, and I think we ended up winning like 4 or 5 World Series as my dad and Anheuser-Busch owned the Cardinals. And today, that's what we look like. We also bought the Miller House, which was to the east of us, and put a Miller wholesaler and a Coors wholesaler out of business a couple different times, so it was kind of cool. But we started with about 14 employees back in '84, and I'm proud to say now that Southern Eagle employs about 155 employees. Pretty big difference. Just some, Just some fun facts that I wanted to share with you all as well. You can see that 1984 to 2018, total net sales, $1.5 billion worth of sales. That's pretty impressive, right, Daryl? That Daryl Bowie helped me do as well. Salaries, we paid out about $156 million in salaries. Employee benefits, about $24 million. Local taxes, $6.5 million. Repairs and maintenance, advertising, donations, promotions. The big one is the excise tax. And as you can see, we have paid to the state of Florida about $153 million, which is kind of cool now because in the last 10 or so years, we've been able to use that money on the Treasure Coast to benefit certain things, specifically when it comes to kids. So I'm really proud that we were able to do that, and I'm very, very proud that we have done as much as we have. This community has meant everything to me and our family. Thank you. So if you look at total number of cases, we started in 1984. I did a little bit under 1 million cases, fourth line down. And last year, 2017, we ended up doing close to 4.3 million cases of beer. Like I said, on the bottom line, employee-wise, in 1984, we had 15, and now we have 155, which again is pretty cool. Our brand portfolio stretches the imagination sometimes. When we first moved down here in '84, I believe we had 4 brands: Budweiser, Michelob, Natural Light, and Busch. Pretty much, if you looked at Budweiser and Busch, they pretty much made up about 90% of our total volume. And some of the guys here that have been with me from 1984, I'd like to introduce, and if you guys wouldn't mind, just take a quick stand. Tommy Patrick, Jim Eves, Jim, Willie Roundtree, Bill Sellers is not here, but I had to mention, and Vernon Roll is not here, but I had to mention him as well. Not to leave out Bruce Knowles, who is here. All right, Bruce, stand up, please. And always keeping with the faith, I am so happy to see my good friends, Bobby Knowles, our sheriff, and Major Bucky Walters. Thank you guys for being here very much. So as you can see, this is not all the brands that we have, but it cuts into the fair share. Our Constellation brands with Corona is also a major brand for us at Southern Eagle. And not to mention our craft beers that have been popping up. It started in Oregon many, many years ago. It finally got to Florida a few years back. But now I believe on the Treasure Coast we have close to 6 micro brews going on right now. Is that correct? 7 or 8 now? Thank you, Philip. So that's become a major part of our portfolio. And I'm proud to say that the majority of the craft brewers here on the Treasure Coast have used or are using Southern Eagle for their distribution. So if any of you guys are out there, thank you very much. And then we also have our NA, non-alcoholic brands, which we're also very proud of. And you can see we have an array of different things that we do as well. Some of the things that our foundation has been able to do, we've worked with the Navy SEALs, we've worked with St. Edwards, we've worked hard with the Boys and Girls Club, which I'm very proud of. We're certainly with the Sheriff's Department, as well as our wild game dinners and the other things. And I'm very proud to say that we started the Busch Wildlife Sanctuary in Jupiter, Florida, and that's almost 30 years old now. It was in the backyard of our first executive director. It grew into something that I am very proud of, and if you ever get a chance, I would really like to invite you to visit the Busch Wildlife Sanctuary right in Jupiter, Florida. Super easy to get there. You go east on the Jupiter exit, you go to the first stoplight, you make a right, you go to the next stoplight, you make another right, and you'll see the sanctuary on your left. So, and for kids, it's super friendly. We have about 60,000 people go through there a year. We go before about 100,000 kids in different schools. We go through about 5,000 animals a year, and our budget down there is about $1.2 million. But the guys that have worked with us and our team at the sanctuary have done an outstanding job, and those guys really deserve a round of applause too, if you wouldn't mind. That's Joan and I in the middle with our 6 kids and our 6 great-grandchildren. That's what it was all about in the beginning. That's what it's all about now. And I am proud to say that I have 3 Missouri babies, and I'm very proud to say that I have 3 Florida babies. All of my grandchildren are all Floridians, except my oldest daughter, who was actually born in San Diego when Philip was working for Anheuser-Busch out there. Part of this whole thing was a book, too, that was written many, many years ago. It was called Making Friends is Our Business. And as you can see the book on the right-hand side, it formed the basis of how we all did business and how we all thought. And it was an important book because not only do we serve fun, all right, we are also very responsible for what we do. And part of this whole book talks about, 1, the people that you meet, the people that you get to know, and how those communities and folks get along. And making friends has been a motto that I have used since I moved down here in 1984, and it's a motto now that my son and daughter still use in the company. So, you know, making friends is our business. We do love what we do. It wasn't always easy, just to let you know that too. There was a few years on the Treasure Coast, and listening to the mayor earlier today, there were some rough times, but we weathered those rough times, and we created what I think is a great company with great employees, surrounded by a super cool community. And again, I'm just very proud to be part of our community. And with that, if you guys wouldn't mind, I would very much like for you all to grab well, I guess we don't have any beers here, do we? But I would like to, again, thank you all for inviting me to be a part of your deal this morning. And I'd also like to tell you this bud's for you. God bless you all, and God bless the United States. Thank you.